Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to an episode of Jash Reads. Today, we are continuing reading Animorphs number 8, The Alien. Yay! And this is a decent length chapter for an Animorphs book, so I have my remaining tea from the morning and some soda. Just to make sure, in case like halfway through my voice decides to leave me. Yeah, Mondays. So, without further ado, let's get started. Maybe. Get my glasses adjusted as hell. Okay, here we go. The first thing an Andalite may notice about humans is that they walk around on only 2 legs. It is very strange to see so many creatures balancing that way. But despite this, they seldom fall over. From the Earth Diary of Eximli Escorth Isthel. My full name is Eximli Escorth Isthel. My human friends call me Axe. I am a very young Andalite. I have 4 legs. I also have 2 arms, and I have a tail. I am told that I look like a cross between a deer, a scorpion, and a human. I've seen deer in the woods, and I don't agree. For one thing, they have mouths, and I don't. And they have only 2 eyes, while I have 4. As for scorpions, I've only seen pictures. There is some resemblance when it comes to the tail. An Andalite tail is also curved upward and tipped by a very sharp blade. As an Andalite, I have the power to morph. It's not something we're born with. It's a technology. But we invented it, and we are the only race in the galaxy that has it. Except for my human friends, that is. They can morph too. But it's thanks to Andalite science, and thanks to the fact that my brother broke our own laws to give them this power. Though one great problem with morphing is the time limit, 2 Earth hours. That time limit was the problem, as my human friends and I set about on a particular mission. It was a mission that required careful planning and careful timing. It was a mission full of risks. We were going to a movie. So here's the deal, Axe, Marco explained. You can watch the first hour of the movie, but that's it. We can get you to the mall theater and you watch for an hour. Then we have to get you back to the woods to demorph. A movie. Movies are an important part of human culture. I had decided if I was stuck on Earth among these aliens, that I should at least learn about them. Maybe I would never be the big hero Alfangor was, but I could surely become the biggest expert on humans. Of course, I would have to attend the movie in a morph. I couldn't go around in public in my own Andalite form. Humans would have been terrified. And the controllers? Those humans who are infested by the Yerk parasites would have tried to kill me, which would have ruined the entire movie experience. I would have to morph to take on a different body. But this particular morph was one I had done several times before. I didn't expect there to be any problems. We were standing together under the camouflage of the forest where I now live. Prince Jake, Marco, Cassie, Rachel, and Tobias were all there, although Tobias was some distance away. Okay, let's do this, Jake said, making sounds with his mouth to form words. He glanced at his watch. Rachel, you have the backup plan ready? Where does X go if he needs an emergency demorph? The dressing rooms at Nordstrom's. They're big and private. Best dressing rooms in the mall. Cassie and I will be posted outside the theater, ready to rush him there if an emergency situation develops. And Rachel promises not to stop and shop and Junior Miss on the way. Cassie said, grinning. Jake glanced up to the sky. Up above the treetops, a red-tailed hawk floated on a warm breeze. Tobias! Jake yelled. All clear, Tobias called down in thought speak. I don't see anyone. Tobias is an othlet, a person trapped in a morph. It is what happens if you stay beyond the 2-hour limit. Tobias is a human, but his body is that of a hawk. He has adjusted well to this bizarre new life. He lives in the forest with me. For a long time, I expected Tobias to ask me the question that must have haunted him day and night. Whether it would ever be possible for him to escape his hawk body. But he never did. I guess he was afraid of the answer. So I didn't volunteer one. Okay, Jake said. Let's do it. I began to morph. The first thing I felt was a slipping, melting, almost sickening feeling as my internal organs began to shift around. There was a scary little jolt as my second and third heart stopped beating. I heard a grinding sound from inside my body as my spine began to shorten. Soon I was in danger of falling on my face as my front leg shriveled. My arms grew thicker and stronger, but 2 fingers on each hand melted together to leave me with 5-fingered hands. My shoulders grew wider to support my large arms, and my hind legs grew sturdier as more of my weight was shifted onto them. The stalks on my head began to retract, and as they did, my stalk eyes grew dimmer and dimmer, like someone turning off the light. Suddenly, they were gone, and I only had 2 eyes. I dislike that. Having just 2 eyes is so limiting. You can only look in one direction at a time. You can't even look behind you. My spine continued to shorten. In fact, it sucked completely out of my tail, which left my tail as limp as a rope. Then the weak remnants of my tail simply withered away. Grab him, he's going to fall over, Prince Jake said. He and Marco each took hold of me to keep me upright, as my front legs disappeared altogether. Hey, clothing! Rachel said, making a face. Clothing! Don't forget the morphing suit, Axe. As my body continued to change, my skin-tight morphing suit also appeared. It's a very difficult trick to be able to morph clothing, and all you can manage is something extremely tight. Are you done? Prince Jake asked me. I considered. I was standing precariously on two legs. No, that cough didn't happen in the book. That was entirely ad-libbed. On accident. I possess 2 strong arms and 10 strong fingers. I was mostly without fur. My eyes were weak and totally unable to see anything except what was in front of me. My hearing was good. My mind was functioning naturally. And I had a mouth. Yes, I said using my mouth. Yes, yes, I am in human morph. I had morphed into a human. The DNA came from samples I had long since acquired from Jake, Cassie, Rachel, and Marco. I would have liked to have Tobias's DNA, but that was not possible since he is Nothlit. My human friends have some differences, but each has only 2 legs, 2 arms, and 2 eyes. They each have 1 mouth. Okay, sorry about that. Prince Jake is large and pale in color with brown hair. Cassie is shorter and darker in color, with darker brown hair. Marco is also shorter and medium color, with long brown hair. Rachel is taller and pale and has yellow hair. None of them has any sort of tail. This always makes my skin crawl, Marco said, staring at me in a sideways fashion. It's like the 4 of us were run through a blender. I swear he has my eyes. What's gross is I'll look at him and think, wow, is that guy cute? Rachel said. Then I'll see something that looks like Cassie, or worse, like me. What? Rachel is in love with her own looks? Marco said, using an inflection of his mouth sounds that humans call sarcasm. Then he looked troubled. I'm still not sure this is a good idea. The controller's good. Uh-huh. Prince Jake interrupted. We're not talking about controllers, Yerks, or Vischer 3. We are taking a break. We fought one battle after another. We destroyed the Kandrona. We beat that Velik monster of theirs. And now we are taking some well-deserved vacation time. Axe wants to learn more about humans, so that's what we're doing. I was never exactly a great student, but I could just imagine how my fellow Andalites would act when they finally rescued me. They'd ask, "So, Aximili, what do you learn about Earth?" And I'd have to say, well, not much. The trick would be to learn about the humans without letting them learn too much about Andalites. There were things I could never tell the humans, things that might make them turn against me. We should hit the Yerks again while they're weak, Rachel growled. We know the Yerks won't get a new ground-based Kandrona for another week. They must still be starving for lack of Kandrona rays. We should hit them. Yeerks are a race of parasitic slugs. They live inside the brains of other species. They completely dominate the host body, making it a controller. There are Hork-Bajir controllers, Taxon controllers, and more human controllers. Any human you know might be a controller. There's no way to tell, unless you are an Andalite. I sympathized with Rachel, but I also understood Prince Jake's caution. No warrior can fight all the time. Look, you guys, Prince Jake said. We hurt the Yeerks. It was a good job. But we also know that they have a replacement Kandrona being set up. So don't assume they're weak. Besides, if they are weak, they sure haven't shown it. I expected to see Yerkstein left and right and former controllers walking free again. Hasn't happened. Somehow they've maintained. We can't know what is going on with the Yeerks, Cassie pointed out. Just because we haven't seen them suffer doesn't mean they haven't. Okay, look, here we are again talking about the Yeerks, Jake said impatiently. We have just come from a very, very unpleasant battle, and we came very close to ending up dead. And it's not the first time. So we are going to relax and be normal. We are going to the movie and we are going to have fun. And no one, Rachel, is going to look for a fight. Don't you love it when he gets all forceful like that? Marco said to Cassie. He's just so Schwarzenegger sometimes. Okay, Axe, Jake said. Time to get dressed. Prince Jake, I'm already wearing this garment, I said, pointing to the thing that covered my body. Wearing, ing, ing. It is an amazing sensation making sounds with your mouth. Actual words are formed by vibrating your throat and positioning your tongue. But some sounds are better than others. Ing is a wonderful sound to make. Don't call me Prince, Prince Jake said. Axe, you're dressed like an escapee from the Ice Capades, Marco said. You can't go out in public wearing tights and a spandex top, Rachel said. It's a major fashion don't. Here. She handed me a bag, and the bag were items of clothing. It took several minutes for me to dress successfully. There's a lot to remember, and every bit of clothing can only go on one way. Socks go on the feet and not on the hands, for example. When I was done, they all stared at me. Even Tobias flew down to stare. Rachel, he looks like he's going to the country club to play polo, Marco said. I knew we shouldn't let you pick the clothes. He's like a bully magnet. Even I want to beat him up. It's a classic look, Rachel said angrily. Like you're Mr. Fashion, a person who dresses like Beavis. I think he looks cute, Cassie said. Well, that's the kiss of death, Tobias remarked from his perch in the tree above. It is? I asked. Just an expression, Axeman, Tobias said. You'll have fun. Axeman. That's what Tobias calls me sometimes. Come on, Axe, Prince Jake said, smiling. Let's do this. If anyone tries to beat you up, we'll protect you. And that's the end of that chapter. Yay! Sorry about taking a small sip of tea and then banging the cup into the mic. That was very professional. You should definitely donate to my Patreon for that. Bit of professionalism there. Okay. So, one thing this book does that I wish was carried into future books narrated by Axe is these little diary entries at the top of a bunch of chapters in the books. It just gives Axe's books, well, not Axe's books because that was stopped after this book, but it gives this book a very different feel. Like you can actually more get into the head of Axe as he's observing humans and has more of a, I guess, a diary feel to it at certain points that I really enjoy. And if you really enjoy that, this is the only book it's going to be in for the rest of the series. Unfortunately, it's a minor spoiler, and it's all depending on if you really like that style or not. So nothing big about the plots being spoiled there. And I love Axe speaking. I love how Axe says things and he gets all excited about the sounds. And luckily, I've had a few books to sort of get the hang of how I do is, the mouth sounds, which I just like. I'm very picky about the fish out of water cliche trope. I forget which category it falls under at the moment, but I do like at certain points. But the thing is, I'm very particular on how I like it done. Like it still has to give this feeling of the character just being not really in tune with the world. Like it's like normal things just confuse the hell out of them. But at the same time, it can't be so goofy that they don't really seem like real people anymore. And Axe in the books does that very well. It's like, what's clothing? Look at I'm wearing clothing. And when he makes mouth sounds, it's like this is the first time he has been able to really speak because andalites don't have mouths. And so he's like a little child playing with his toy. And I think it walks the line just well enough that I do enjoy Axe. Now in the show, there's one episode where Axe just goes and does his own things. For one of the problems, he dropped some ice cream and on the ground, and he doesn't immediately start to eat it, talking about the grass. And another thing, he just confused about how car doors open. It's like, really? Really? This is what you're doing? But the books do act a lot better. And finally, I do find that the mission he's going on, this is a very intensive mission with a bunch of planning and preparation, and then I'm seeing a movie. Woo! And this is one of the lighter moments in the Animorphs series, but still, going to see a movie for Axe is a tough thing. So having importance put on the fact that he's going to the movie, giving it some weight, it does have some weight. So, the weight given to it is, good. But at the same time, it's like, it's a movie and just sounds funny. So it's a really lighthearted part of the book. And Well, Animorphs does go then goes to some places where I can't speak because they're so depressing and what the fuck. It still has these moments of pure joy and bliss, like, look at him, he's it's going to a movie, but he's acting like it's serious. Look at, he can't put on his clothing correctly. He's getting confused by clothing, lols. So yeah. So little parting question. What do you think about clothing? You know, when you put it on, are you ever confused by clothing? Like, what's too much, what's too little? Like, like just myself, I only wear usually my PJ pants because they stretch and they are comfortable. And I wear a t-shirt, socks, and sometimes a jacket. A lot of the times a jacket. That's fine for me. But you know, when you go out, you can't walk around in PJ pants or people will look at you oddly. But it's like, they're still pants, they're doing the job. So what, you know, thoughts about clothing do you have? Please comment below, and please comment below with anything else you noticed about this chapter. What you liked, what you didn't like, anything. And remember, no major spoilers. People are going to be coming. I'm hoping beyond hope that people are brought into the series via these videos. So, you know, don't want to spoil the big twists and turns of the series. But if you do want to talk spoilers with me, if you're on the YouTubes, link in the description to my Tumblr Ask box, and let's go crazy about talking about Animorphs. Animorphs is my ultimate, you know, a fandom. So it's like any fandoms for me come and go, but Animorphs is forever. So we can go wild at that shit. And if you are watching this, actually, hang on, I was skipping ahead. Hey, hello, new Fanimorphs. Welcome to the fandom. Hope I'm the one who converted you. And I'm sorry to say, this fandom does not have cookies. But it does have cinnamon buns, aka humanity's greatest invention. And if you would like your very own copy of Animorphs number 8, The Alien by K.A. Applegate, you can know what you should do? You could, you know, buy the book via the links. If you're on the YouTube, said link is in the description. If you're on my blog, said link is down below, and both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Animorphs number 8, The Alien by K.A. Applegate. Now, I can very well understand if you don't want to buy via those links. Totally understand for various reasons. But here's 3 perks if you do buy via those links. 1, you get your very own copy of Animorphs number 8, The Alien by K. Applegate. 2, you help support K. Applegate. And 3, you help support me and this blog. So this is something to think about. Guilt you, guilt you, guilt you, guilt you. If you're on the YouTubes, please like this video if you too are confused about clothing from time to time. Also, remember to subscribe. I will be reading the entirety of Animorphs number 8, The Alien by K. Applegate. I will also be reading the entirety of the Animorphs series. And if you're looking for some other dramatic reading not in the sci-fi realm, I am reading the entire Inheritance cycle on this channel, so well, think about that. And if you're watching on my Bluggity blog and watching on the desktop version of my Bluggity blog, link no, I was going to say link in the description. Like, oh my god. Okay, I'm jumping around here. Okay, if you're okay, let's start that little segment again. Let's do this. We can do this. I can do this. Okay. And if you're watching on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on one of my lovely blog posts. I just don't do these wonderful dramatic readings. I also do mini reviews, fan fictions, analysis of different works, full length reviews, a bunch of stuff. So, don't want to miss a thing. And the next video in my Animorphs number 8 dramatic reading will be in a few hours. So stay tuned. And until next video, goodbye.